Okay, great. So again, like I said, my name is Emily Newberger. So I am recording the session today, so I will email that out to all of you. So you can either watch it, reference it later, or send it to any of your colleagues who couldn't be here today. But just want to do a quick introduction and then just review some Zoom logistics. And then we'll go over the virtual fairs on Handshake, how to set up your virtual fair schedule. I'm actually going to share my screen and show you all how to do it. So you can either follow along if you have multiple screens and do that, or again, this is being recorded, so you can always come back and look at it. And then just give you some tips on how to best prepare and promote your attendance at the virtual fair. And then also just some best practices for follow-up. We'll also just kind of talk about best practices throughout, and then also share with you all some additional engagement opportunities here on campus. So because we have a smaller group today, I'm happy if you all want to take yourself off mute to ask the question. So please raise your hand. I will shot of where you can find that in the reactions button. And then you can also post questions in the chat. I'll probably look at those at the end. So, but feel free to interrupt me, raise your hand, and I'll do my best to answer questions as they come up. So I first just want to give you a brief overview of career services here at UMKC. So we do have 2 career services offices. So we have our general career services office, which we refer to as the central office. So they're serving all UMKC students except our business students who are in the block school. And that's where me and my colleague Ashley exist. We serve the students in the business school and the block business school. We have our own career center here. So based on your hiring needs, you can figure out who to reach out to. We can all help you. So just wanted to just make sure you knew that differentiation, so you're getting connected with the best and most qualified students. Great. Okay, so just to give you an overview of how virtual career fairs happen on Handshake. So basically there's 2 ways for employers to connect with students through a virtual career fair, again, on Handshake. So first are these group sessions. So they are 30-minute sessions for large group of attendees. You can set up as many group sessions as you like within the time constraints of the fair. You can have up to 50 attendees, including your employer team members, if you're using the Handshake video. If you want to have more than that, you'll need to set up an external video, and I'll show you all how to do that. And then you can have as many people in that session that will fit on that platform. The employers, you can join your group session up to 60 minutes early to like test your audio and video connection, which I highly suggest you do. And then the students can join up to 5 minutes early or once you start the session. So if you choose to start the session right at the scheduled time, then they won't be able to join before then. So hopefully that makes sense. And then Handshake, if you have more than 15 people in your group session on the Handshake video platform, if there's more than 15 people, it will automatically disable audio and video for the participants. But Handshake, much like Zoom, does have a raise hand feature. The only kind of difference is that if a student is raising their hand, you or whoever's hosting the session will have to call on the student to ask them to unmute and turn their video on, and then they can ask the question. You can share your screen in a group session as well, much like Zoom. You can either choose to share your entire screen, an application window, or a specific browser. You'll probably the first time you share your screen in a group session on the Handshake platform, you'll need to grant access, but once you do it once, it should be good to go. And then you can play a pre-recorded video by sharing your screen. I wouldn't recommend like trying to play it any otherwise. I would share the screen and play the video, and just make sure that your mic volume is turned all the way up and that you don't have any headphones or anything plugged in, because that's how Handshake will get the audio to play for the students who are in your group session. A couple other things about group sessions: if you accidentally leave the session, you can rejoin at any time or until the end time. And actually Handshake will keep the session open for about 20 minutes after the scheduled end time, just to allow for any ongoing conversation. And you will get a 1-minute warning will appear on your screen before the scheduled end time comes up. And one last thing, if you do have any students that are asking inappropriate questions or just not supposed to be there, you can remove users and report them as well. And I'll send you all a bunch of links after about how to do some of these more detailed things. I just kind of want to do more of an overview today. And then with the one-on-one appointments, those are just like they sound. They're 10-minute individual appointments with students. Again, you can set up as many as you want within the time constraints of the fair. And if you want another team meet in the one-on-one appointment with you, then you'll need to set up that external video. And again, I'll show you how to do that. And then when it comes to virtual fair reps, I definitely strongly encourage you to have definitely more than one rep at the fair. It'll just help you maximize your opportunities to meet with students during the fair. Any team members will need to have a Handshake account to claim and edit their virtual fair schedule. And you can only add up to 100 team members per virtual fair registration, which I think is more than enough. I don't even know if I'd recommend adding that many, but maybe that will happen someday. Okay, great. So I am going to quickly, let me show you how you can get to setting up your virtual fair schedule. So whoever registered your company or your organization should have gotten this email that says add a schedule to participate in your upcoming career fair. So you just click on that red button and then it'll take you to this landing page that's on the image below. And you can also get to this fair by logging into your Handshake account and then just clicking on the career fair. So please note though, that once you set your schedule, like us in career services, we really aren't able to view or edit virtual fair schedules. It's really owned by you, whoever sets up the career fair schedule, and then whoever is like an added team member and they were added to the registration to set up the schedule. They're the ones that really own it. So again, I'm going to send you a lot of links after to help you troubleshoot anything if you do need to make changes, but hopefully after today, you'll have a good grasp on what you need to do. So I am going to actually exit out of this presentation and switch over to Handshake. So I'm logged in under my career services. So I'm logged in under my career services account. So this is my homepage. So I'm just going to scroll down and then go click on this, the career fair. So I've already registered, I've been approved. And so now I want to create my schedule. So here I am, and I'm going to click on schedule. And so I don't have a schedule set up yet. So I need to do that. And that's what I want to show you all how to do. So I'm going to click on add sessions. And the first thing that you'll need to do is to add team members. So I have two of my colleagues here who have already been added to the Handshake account. When we created our Handshake account initially, we were all listed as team members on the account. So if you don't see your team member on here when you're registering, you can either copy the invite link, which you can then share directly with your colleague, like just copy and paste it in an email. And this will allow them to create their own account that connects directly to your company profile. Or you can add a teammate manually. So this essentially creates like a shell account for your colleague or your teammate. And then they'll receive an email with a prompt to set up their password once they've claimed their account. And then you'll be able to add them to the group for one-on-one sessions. So again, everyone just has to have a Handshake account in order to be added as a team member to your virtual fair schedule. If you don't have either of these options when you log in, that means you'll need to follow up with the company owner of the Handshake account, and something on the back end needs to be adjusted so that that can be changed. Let me see what else. When you do add a team member, they will get an email notifying that they've been added and that they need to set up their career fair schedule. And yeah, I would recommend just adding all of your team members when you're initially creating this. And then you can always go back in and add people if you need to as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add myself, Ashley, and Maggie to my team. Ashley is going to host our group sessions, and then Maggie is going to do one-on-one appointments, and I'm going to be doing both. So I've checked all of them, and then you'll want to click on this blue Add Team button. So click on that. So now you'll work on scheduling your group sessions. So again, group sessions for up to 50 students. You can do company overviews or Q&As. So it's asking if your organization wants to hold group sessions. So I'm going to click yes, and then it's going to ask you if you want to use Handshake video tool. So remember, the Handshake video session can only host 50 people, and that includes anyone who's leading your session. So if you have 1 or 2 reps in there, you can have 48 students join you. Or you can choose, so if I click on that, you'll see here that it'll just ask me for title, description, how many people from my team are hosting, and then the time. And if I choose to do an external video platform, it's going to ask for the video URL. So that way, when students click on join session from Handshake, when the fair starts, they will be redirected to your Zoom, WebEx, Teams, whatever you've set up. Just for this purposes, I don't have a Zoom link, so I'm just going to use Handshake video session. You will want to title your group session something descriptive, right? So if you're from a specific division of your company, if you're providing an overview of engineering opportunities, please put that in the title. That will get you the students the most, get you connected with the students who are going to fit that description. And it's just a best practice that we recommend as well as Handshake. So I'm just going to put in here overview of Block Career Center. And then I would recommend putting in a description. Again, it can just be short, just whatever your what you plan to cover during the session would be what I would suggest putting here. So I'm just going to say, learn about services at the VCC. And then you'll need to type in how many people from your team will host this event. So you can only add as many people here that you've added to your team. So like, let's say that I wanted to have 4 people host this event. It's not going to let me do that because I only have 3 team members, just me, Ashley, and Maggie. So see how this confirmed session is still grayed out because of that. So if I put in 2 and then I select my time, we'll just do 9 a.m. The confirmed session button is now active and I can click on that. But again, if I were to put in 4 people, I don't think it won't work because I don't have 4 team members to even add. So I'm just going to put 1 and then in the next screen, I'm going to add either Maggie, Ashley, or myself to the group session. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add 1 more session just so we can see what that looks like. I'm just going to call this one a test session, just for the purposes of showing you. And I'm just going to put that there's another only one of us will be hosting that. And then see how 9 to 9:30 is grayed out because I've already scheduled a session. So I'll click this here. And I'm going to click confirm sessions. And so now it wants me to assign which team member will be doing which session. So for this one, I can only select up to 1 team member because that's how many people I said we're going to give the session. So if I try to click on So if I try to click on Maggie down here, the assigned team is going to blur out because I've only said I wanted 1 team member and it won't let you schedule more than you said you wanted to. So I'm going to schedule Maggie for this first one and then Ashley for the second group session. So once I've figured that out, and again, you can do as many group sessions as you want. I would recommend doing a mix of the group sessions and the one-on-one appointments. But again, that's really up to you and what works for your team. So I'm going to click assign team. So now I've set up my group sessions. And so the next step is to add your one-on-one appointments. So one thing I will say, again, if you have colleagues from multiple divisions on your registration and they're going to be hosting one-on-one appointments, I'd recommend that they add their title or their division in their user setting. So basically it's like on their profile and then students will be able to see that. I'll send you a link so that you can edit your own profile and how to add that in. Again, that way just students are signing up for one-on-one appointments that are within the right division of your company, or if they have a specific interest, they're getting connected with the right people. So I'm going to just add one-on-one sessions for myself here. So I click add one-on-one sessions, and the next step here is to add student qualifications. So this essentially means you can limit which students can sign up for your one-on-one appointment. So you can qualify students based on their GPA, work authorization, their Handshake group or their major essentially, and their graduation date. So if you wanted to add any of those requirements, you could click yes, and then you would click on add requirements. And then it's going to ask you to fill out the earliest graduation date, latest graduation date, certain years in school, minimum GPA, major, And then if you're requiring any work authorization. So if you are hiring international students or not, you will definitely want to fill this out. So unfortunately, we here are not able to hire international students. So I would click no. If you clicked yes, it's going to ask you a couple additional questions about if you're hiring in the US, you're willing to sponsor students or hire candidates with OPT, CPT. Just be prepared to answer those. And then if you are adding qualifications, we recommend, as well as Handshake, pausing the one-on-one qualifications 48 hours before the event starts. And that way it'll just help you fill any empty one-on-one appointments, but also allows any students who maybe don't fit these requirements to still get connected with you. So that way no students are falling through the cracks. So you can choose to keep your qualifications on the whole time. I would strongly recommend pausing the qualifications just because, we want to democratize our career fair as much as possible. And so pausing the qualifications kind of allows us to do that and make more of an equal playing field for all of our students. So I am just going to go back here and not add any requirements right now, just for the sake of time and just testing. Let me just make sure. And you can change your qualifications up until the start time of the fair, but once the fair has started, you cannot change them. The only option will be to clear all of your qualifications as opposed to editing them. And also each of your team members, when they're setting up their one-on-one appointments, can set their own requirements. So let's say you're hiring for accounting students and civil engineering students. You can, if you have a specific teammate who is reviewing the resumes for your engineering positions, they can set up those requirements that then can be different from the person who's hiring your accounting interns or whoever. So that is a nice feature that, depending on what division recruiters are representing, they can make that adjustments in those qualifications. So like I said, I mentioned the pros and cons of using the qualifications. I will say too, not all of our students have their Handshake profiles completely filled out. So if they're missing any information, they might not be able to see your one-on-one appointments if you do have those qualifications on there. So just something to keep in mind, but we do want you to get connected with the most qualified students. So that's where those qualifications can help you with that. Great, so I'm gonna click schedule sessions. So I've added sessions here. So basically Handshake will default to adding one-on-one appointments for me for the duration of the career fair, unless I've been scheduled for a group session. So I'm going to show you, once you set this up, how you then mark yourself as busy. So if you do have a meeting or you just need to take a break, you can do that so that you're not overscheduling yourself with the one-on-one appointments or scheduling yourself at a time when you're actually not available. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just click assign team here. And then your last section will be to review. So Ashley's leading one group session, Maggie's leading another, and then I'm doing all the one-on-one sessions. So I will click confirm, schedule, and invite team. And then it should bring me to let's see, reload this. So Handshake sometimes is a little spotty. Yeah, so here's all of my, now when I navigate to the schedule, I can see that these are all my one-on-ones and that they're open. So if a student signs up for this session, it will put the student's name in there. And so that's how you'll know if one is taken. Okay, so I am going to go back to my presentation. Present. Okay, great. So like I said, once your schedule has been kind of, so the way Handshake works is once you've been added to your team and you've been notified that you now need to go in and make your schedule, you can, this is what it'll look like when you go to your schedule, and you'll want to mark as busy here. So you just go to the 3 dots and then you'll want to mark yourself as busy for any one-on-one appointments that you can know that you can't attend. Again, if you have a meeting or you need to take a break, that will be what you need to do. So I just want to reiterate that your virtual fair, whoever registered your company for the virtual fair will do that first part of adding you to your group sessions or your one-on-one appointments. And then it's up to you to now go in and mark yourself as busy for any one-on-one appointments that you don't want students to sign up for. And you can do the same for your group sessions as well. So a couple things to keep in mind when you're determining your availability. You'll only be able to edit attendance or availability for group sessions that you are hosting. So you won't be able to update this for other team members. And again, neither will career services. Like I said, Handshake will default any times that are not assigned to a group session to one-on-one appointments for all team members. So you'll need to log in to your virtual fair schedule and make any to your availability. So it's kind of a two-step process. So let me show you on the next slide. So a team member can remove themselves from a group session. So they would mark as not attending, but then they would just remove themselves from the meeting, but keep the group session. So let's say that Ashley could no longer do the group session. So she added me to it. So then we can go in and remove herself, but keep me on, for example. So. Yeah, so like I said, just best practice, make sure you are accounting for any needed breaks in your lunch schedule and just marking yourself as busy.
This shall we both preserve and enjoy it. On the other hand,
so I do want to reiterate too, when you're managing your virtual fair schedule, so once you've set up that initial schedule, you can make the following changes. So I'm not going to show you how to do these, but just keep in mind what you can and can't change. You can change the schedule owner. So whoever registered your company, if they can no longer want to be the schedule owner, you can change that. So, and only schedule owners though can cancel the group sessions. So keep that in mind. You can invite or add bulk team members. So if you have a brand new team of people that you need to do, you can upload them and bulk invite them to to create a virtual schedule. You can also remove or transfer a schedule to another team member. You can create new group sessions. You can edit the title, description, switch to externally hosted video, change host count, and add or remove team members as host for group sessions. And then same with one-on-one appointments, you can edit the qualifications, change to externally hosted video, and then review the sessions that are taken. So again, that's the stuff that you can change once you've created this schedule initially. So a lot of it you can change, but usually once the fair starts, you're not really able to make many changes. Okay, great. I see there's a couple questions in the chat. So let me, someone said, can you all hear me now? Sometimes my microphone cuts in and out and I apologize. So I can totally repeat anything you might have missed. So just let me know. Okay, great. So just some additional career fair prep. So be sure to, test all of your technology. I know we say this all the time, but just ensure you have a strong internet connection. You can use that externally hosted video if your company has any firewalls. I know we have some employers that work with the military and the government, and they're pretty strict about what websites people can go to and what pop-ups can happen. So, and I would also recommend, you might need to have a personal computer as an alternative if your company one does have those firewalls or those blockers up that don't allow Handshake to access your video or your microphone. So just keep that in mind. And I will also send you resources for how to test your browser video, audio, and screen sharing in Handshake, just so you can make sure that that is all taken care of. And like I said, you can join your group session early, and your one-on-one appointments also. So you can always test that once you get into those sessions or appointments. And then I would also, we would love your help in promoting the career fair, as well as just getting students excited to interact with you. So you're welcome to post on social media and tag us. We're pretty active on LinkedIn and Instagram. So just a way to help you promote your attendance at our career fair, and also us to get students, again, to sign up and come and interact with you during the virtual fair. And then just make sure that all your job postings are active on Handshake. It'll just help give students an idea of what opportunities are available at your company before they go into the career fair. Okay, so then the day of career fair, a couple of things that you need to be aware of and make sure that you do, or just help the day run smoothly. So students can sign up for group sessions and one-on-one appointments during the fair. So please refresh your browser and your schedule as frequently as possible. Students can sign up for one-on-one appointments literally like the minute before they're supposed to start. So I know that can be kind of frustrating for you as a recruiter, but it really is just how students operate, especially in this like current pandemic world that we're living in. So I would strongly just recommend just keep refreshing your browser, keep refreshing your virtual fair schedule as much as possible. And that brings me to my second point. If you do happen to miss a one-on-one appointment during the fair, you can communicate with students through Handshake. You can send them a message and let them know like, hey, can you sign up for a meeting at this time? Or we can set up another time outside of the virtual fair to meet. But I just know the students really appreciate when there is some follow-up if you do miss a student, and we know that happens, and they're usually very understanding. And then as far as communicating with students, like I said, you can send them messages. Handshake also has options for you to create labels for students. So let's say you're in a group session and you see the students that are there, you may want to create a label to say that they went to your group session, so then you can do some follow-up. Again, I will send you links on how to create labels. You can actually create the label ahead of time. And then when you're actually in the group session, you can add students to that label. And then you'll be able to pull that information really easily after the fair or in the future, whenever you might need that information. And then Handshake does also allow you to take notes on student profiles as well. So if you're doing a one-on-one appointment with them, it might be helpful to add a note, especially if a student maybe is considering like a master's student or a master's degree, or isn't graduating for another year. So you can actually put that in the note just to help jog your memory of what you talked about with the student and where they are in their college career. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, great. And then we also will have a Zoom help room, which will be available about 30 minutes before the start of the virtual fair. The link will be emailed to you, but also when you go to the details of the fair, about 30 minutes before the fair starts, you'll be able to click on a Join Career Center help room, and that will bring you to a Zoom room that we will be staffing and can help you as much as we can. And so then I did want to just talk about any post-fair follow-up. So we will send you resumes and contact information for all the students who registered. So maybe they weren't able to attend, something came up, but they registered. So we'll still send you their information. And we'll send you resumes for any students who have them listed publicly on Handshake. And also, if you're interested in doing any on-campus interviews afterwards, please let us know. We can set those up virtually as well through Handshake, or we can set them up in person. We do have space that's kind of limited on campus for those interviews. So please just let us know if that's something you're interested in. Again, we can set them up virtually though for you as well, if you'd like. And then finally, just wanted to review some other opportunities for engagement here on our campus. We do allow employers to come and table just in our block school or in the student union to get connected with students that way, just kind of in a more passive way of recruitment. We do have mock interviews, especially for some of our management students. It's a required class for all of our students. So we need actual employers and recruiters to do those mock interviews. So let me know if you're interested in that. And then we do sometimes appreciate employer-led workshops as well. So typically we ask employers to present on a topic that is related to careers that students could benefit from. And then they can also use that time to promote their company as well as their open opportunities. And then I am, looking to organize some site visits for this spring, of course, that are safe and make sure that we're following any COVID restrictions or guidelines. But if you're interested in hosting no more than 20 students at your office and just sharing about your open positions and showing students where they could possibly work, we would really appreciate that partnership and would definitely work with you to make that happen. So I think that is all I have. Definitely happy to take any questions. Let me check the chat. Are there any questions? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everyone. If anyone wants to raise their hand, come off mute. I know it's a lot of information, and like I said, I'm going to send a lot of links for you to reference that have screenshots for you to follow along and figure out any changes that you might need to make or anything like that. Does anyone have any questions? I find it hard to believe that I was super clear on everything. So yes, I will send the recording. Well, I hope this was helpful. I'm happy to stay on until like 1 o'clock, or if anyone wants to email me or ask me questions separately, I can pull up my contact information again. Let me see. We'll go back here. Yeah, so that's me. Let's see, chat.
This is just sorry, is it okay if I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is just a handshake in general question, so this might not be the best question for you, but I've had some problems with like trying to delete a job that's no longer and not being able to so I have more jobs listed that I really want to promote, especially at something like this fair. I'm not sure if you know anything about that or how to fix it. I've been trying to figure it out, but
yeah, I don't know if you're able to delete a job posting, but I would just update the end date or the expiration date to be like today at noon or whatnot, and then it should just expire. And so I don't think students then can see your expired posts. I can, as someone who works in career services, and you would be able to as well if you want, because that way if you wanted to duplicate that job in the future, you have that option. But that way at least students won't be seeing it or applying for it. I think if you have applications on there, that might be part of the reason why you can't delete it either. Like if any students have applied.
Okay, that's actually super helpful. Great idea.
Yeah.
And
okay.
one more question. I know you can do an application through Handshake, and we've never bothered to use that. Do you find is that something that you've seen students appreciate or you've seen be useful?
Yeah, I think so. It's super easy for them to apply through Handshake because we tell them to put their resume on there and fill out their profile as completely as possible. So it's kind of like LinkedIn. Handshake is in that sense that students can literally just apply with a click, which makes it super nice. And then what you could do is, in the job posting, you could put an external applicant link if you need students to fill out a different application, like on your website or in your own tracking system. Or you can then follow up with them once you have their resume and things like that, because their email should be listed on their resume. Handshake does hide students' emails, but if you get it from them through a resume, you can email them that way to then apply separately, like I said, on your website or wherever, or you can send them a message through Handshake also to encourage them to apply.
Perfect.
Outside of Handshake, yeah.
Great.
Of course. Okay, some more chats. Great. Well, I will give you a little caveat that a lot of this information exists on Handshake and their help center, but it's not all kind of in one place. So like I said, I'm going to send you a lot of links for you to review, and hopefully that way, if you do run into any issues, one of them will get you the information you're looking for. So are there any other questions? It doesn't have to be related to career fair. I'm happy to connect with you all right now about anything. So. Okay, great. Well, like I said, I'll hang out for a little bit until the last person leaves. If you do have any questions, just let me know. You're welcome to email me or call me. I just want this to be a smooth experience for you all and for you to be able to get in touch with students easily. So yeah, please let me know. Again, if you have any feedback even after the fair too, definitely open to that so that we can just constantly make this a good experience for everyone.